What's up, sports bettors? Matt Modi here with OddsJam. One of the most fun parts about March Madness is rooting for the underdogs. So in this video, I am giving you 5 potential upset picks for March Madness. Now, obviously, I'm not guaranteeing that these 5 are going to win or saying that these are the only 5 upset picks, but these are definitely my favorite. I used OddsJam, using math, using the value, comparing odds to sharp sportsbooks to identify which 5 teams I think have a chance to upset their opponent in the first round. Now, I have up here the bracket for March Madness. The most popular seeds in terms of when it comes to upsets are the 12, 13, and 14 seeds. Now, obviously, again, I'm not saying every single one of these seeds are going to win or that these are going to be the only examples of when the upsets occur. Those are just the most likely outcomes that fall within this bracket that I like, the 12 through 14 seed range. But I'm just going to go through the 5 teams I think have a chance to win their first round pick as an upset, as an underdog, saving my absolute favorite one for last. Starting off, we are looking at the Yale versus Vanderbilt game. And I really like Yale as a potential upset pick. We've seen Ivy League teams do well in the tournament in the past. Harvard has. Obviously, just because that has happened in the past doesn't mean that it's going to happen in the future. And we have also seen examples of Ivy League teams get absolutely curb stomped in the first round of March Madness. But we can get a really good play here on Yale moneyline, plus 148 at Caesars. Now, when I am comparing lines, comparing odds to the sharp sportsbooks, there are 4 main sportsbooks that I look at, giving the heaviest weight to Pinnacle. But the 4 are Pinnacle, Circa, and this is Circa Colorado, which is not as good as Circa Vegas, but still good, Bookmaker, and BetOnline. Pretty much if a bet that I'm placing is an outlier to Pinnacle, then that's considered a good play. And then you compare the other 3 just to see how good of a play it is. And look at the value here on Yale Moneyline. It's plus 148 at Caesars. Pinnacle has this down at plus 130. Circa is even higher on Yale and has them at plus 123. And then Bookmaker and BetOnline aren't as high, plus 139, plus 140. But if you click this button here, it removes the VIG, shows the fair odds for where every sportsbook prices a play. And as we can see, plus 139 on Pinnacle, plus 134 on Circa, and it's only plus 147 and plus 148 on Bookmaker and BetOnline. So it's plus EV to 3 of the 4 sharp sportsbooks, and it's neutral EV to 1 of the 4, BetOnline. So this plus 148 at Caesars is a really, really good price here. Vanderbilt in the SEC don't really have that strong of a program. It's not like they deserve the benefit of the doubt or anything like that. So we're getting a really good price here. So Yale moneyline as one of my 5 favorite teams that I think has a chance to upset their opponent in the first round. Next up, not as big of an upset, but we are looking at Penn State to defeat Texas A&M. The odds are at plus 143 at WinBet. Now, this game is kind of fascinating to me because both of these teams made huge runs to their conference finals, right? Penn State, obviously in the Big Ten, losing to Purdue in a very, very close game at the end. Texas A&M making it all the way to the SEC championship, getting trounced by Alabama. So they did not make their final game close. But Penn State started off the year horribly, so the advanced stats don't favor them very highly, but they really came on towards the end of the year, obviously including that Big Ten tournament run. So plus 143 odds at WinBet is a pretty good price for Penn State. We see Pinnacle have this all the way down at plus 132. Now, the other 3 aren't as high on Penn State as Pinnacle is, like BetOnline at plus 135, Bookmaker at plus 138, and then Circa at plus 139. But at the end of the day, if it's plus EV to Pinnacle, that is something that will be profitable in the long run. And it still is a pretty decent price when you just compare the holistic market as well, right? Like you obviously want to give heavy weight to the 4 main sports books, but then just look at the rest of them. The closest book is Bet365 at plus 140, with the rest of them mid-30s all the way down to plus 125. So I do like this play on WinBet a lot. Penn State versus Texas A&M. Penn State money line plus 143. Next up, and this is the spiciest of all of them, it is Oral Roberts versus Duke. I think Oral Roberts has a great chance to upset Duke in this game. I'm assuming everybody remembers the run Oral Roberts had as a 15 seed a couple years ago in the tournament. One of their key players, Max Asmus, is still there on the team. And Duke had a good year, better than what most people thought they would be their first year without Coach K, admittedly, but they performed significantly better at home than they did on the road. And one of my March Madness betting strategies is to fade teams that perform significantly better at home, right? Obviously, you're not playing in front of your home crowd in March Madness. So Oral Roberts' money line does have some value. Not so much when you look at Bookmaker and BetOnline, but if you look at Circa and Pinnacle, you start to see the value here. And you can get Oral Roberts at plus 240 at Caesars, DraftKings, and Betway. Like if you remove the VIG, Pinnacle has the no VIG odds here at plus 235, and we're getting it 5 cents higher at these different sports books. Now, it's not as good of a play compared to BetOnline or Bookmaker. Even Circa isn't as good of a play. But Oral Roberts' money line, I think, is a very, very good upset pick to make in the first round of the tournament. And then I'm saving my best for last. So the fourth one we have here is Kent State versus Indiana. Kent State money line best offered at plus 169 at PlayUp. For those of you that don't have PlayUp, it's offered at plus 167 at Bet365, and then plus 165 at BetMGM. Worth taking at those three numbers. Looking at the odds here, pretty aligned aside from Circa, from the sharp sports books, plus 156 at Pinnacle, 55, plus 155 at Bookmaker and BetOnline. If you remove the VIG, you can see that we're getting a pretty good price here if you look at all of the sharp sports books. BetOnline plus 162, Bookmaker plus 164, Pinnacle plus 166. If you remember, we're getting it up at plus 169 and plus 167. Looking at the matchup here, I'm not a huge fan of Indiana, to be honest with you. I think that Mike Woodson isn't a horrible coach, but he plays such an archaic and outdated style. Indiana does not get a ton of three-pointers up. And Kent State, now obviously the level of competition is going to be a huge factor here. It's hard to just look at wins and losses when you compare a team like Kent State in their conference versus Indiana in the Big Ten. But Kent State has been a good team all year. They have a significantly better record against the spread, which I'm not saying is everything, but it is something. And I think Indiana is ripe to get upset here. So Kent State money line, plus 169 at PlayUp, plus 167 at Bet365, or plus 165 at BetMGM. All three are good plays that I think are worth taking. And then the last one, my absolute favorite upset pick for the first round is VCU over St. Mary's. I don't trust St. Mary's at all. In this one, I think VCU is a perfect team to upset St. Mary's in the first round. You can get VCU at plus 167 odds at Bet365, which is positive EV if you remove the VIG from Pinnacle. Pinnacle pricing this at plus 166. So there is some value there. Everybody remembers VCU making the run to the Final Four back in 2010, 2011. Obviously, a ton has changed since then. Shaka Smart is no longer the head coach there. But St. Mary's, I think, is getting too much respect in this one. And I think that VCU is ripe to upset St. Mary's. So that is my absolute favorite pick in terms of an underdog to win straight up. So that's 5 upset picks that I have for you guys. Yale moneyline, Texas A&M moneyline, Oral Roberts, VCU, and Kent State as my 5 picks to win straight up that are underdogs. My 5 did decently well last year, so hopefully we can keep the streak alive. For those of you that have watched, I appreciate it. If you're still watching, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. You can hit me up on social media where I post a bunch of plays as well at my Twitter handle, Jedi Modai, in the description of the video as well. And that's it. So again, thank you guys for watching and have a good one.